You know what gets frustrating? Finding a lens that looks good on paper, but just doesn't feel good to use. Maybe it's sharp, but it never really makes you want to use the lens for a shoot. And that's why I like lenses like this. This is the Viltrox 35mm 1.8 II EVO FE. And what stands out to me is that it gets a lot of important things right. It's compact, it's fast, it focuses close, it works really well for video. 35mm is a really useful focal length. So in this video, I want to talk about why this lens is so easy to recommend, what the specs actually means in real use, and what it's been like shooting with it. I'm using the Sony FX3 for this video, but this review is really about the lens. I think one of the best things here is the focal length. 35mm is just incredibly usable. It's wide enough to show some environment, but not so wide that everything starts looking distorted. So it works for talking head shots. It works for everyday B-roll, for walking shots, for lifestyle content, for outdoors, indoors. It just gives you a really natural point of view. That's what makes a lens like this feel very practical, right? Doesn't feel like a specialty lens. It feels like a lens you can leave on your camera most of the time. And honestly, I love those type of lenses. In fact, I'm using this lens right now for this video. I absolutely love how it focuses. I can tap my face and it locks in and follows me. So far, what I'm seeing is that this lens is responding really well to the Sony FX3. This is just me monitoring it through my on-camera monitor, but what I'm seeing, it seems like this lens is communicating really well with the Sony FX3. The autofocus, from what I've seen, hasn't let me down thus far. I'm excited to get this back to the office and see what this looks like in further detail, but guys, it goes along with what I was saying, you know, $400 for a prime lens. No, it's not that Sony glass. No, it's not that Canon glass, but Viltrox, that's what glass it is. And I think it's a pretty solid piece of glass. So you guys let me know what you think. Now, as far as the actual specs go, this is a full frame 35mm prime for Sony E-mount with a maximum aperture of 1.8. It uses a 13 element, 10 group optical design with 2 ED elements, 3 high refractive elements, and 1 UA element. Viltrox also positioned it as an APO design, which is basically about keeping the image clean and controlling color fringing. And so what this really means is simple. You want a lens that gives you sharp detail, good contrast, and a clean image without weird color fringing showing up around the edges. And that's one of the things people have been praising about this lens. It's been called out for sharpness, wide open, and very good control of chromatic aberration for a lens in this class. Another thing I like is the close focus. This lens focuses down to 0.34 meters, which makes it more useful than a lot of people realize. Because if you're filming products, gear, coffee shots, hands, little detail shots, or cinematic inserts, that close focus really helps. You can get tighter, you can make the frame feel more intentional, and it just gives the lens more flexibility. This is also a lens that benefits from being compact. It weighs about 355 grams and is roughly 69 by 76 millimeters. So it stays small, light, and easy to carry. It also has a 58mm filter thread, which is great for video because using ND filters doesn't become a hassle. And this matters because a lens can be excellent optically, but if it's too big or too awkward, you feel that every time you use it. This one was designed for real-world shooting. It feels easy to carry, easy to balance. I was using it on the Ronin earlier. It's very easy to balance. It's easy to keep on the camera, and if you ask me, that goes a long way. For video, one of the biggest things I care about is whether the lens gets out of the way. And this lens uses the STM autofocus motor, and Viltrox says it's built for fast, accurate autofocus. And that lines up with what reviewers have been saying too. I'll put a screenshot of the reviews on Amazon. See, it's been described as fast, accurate, and near silent, which is exactly what you want for talking head work, movement shots, or solo shooting like I'm doing right now. I mean, and that's a big deal for me because when I'm shooting by myself, I don't want to think about the lens. I want to select my face and know that the lens can lock in on me. I just want to trust it and keep moving. It's going to help me work more smoother. This lens also gives you a declickable aperture ring, which is genuinely useful for video. If you want smoother exposure changes, that's a great feature to have. As for the look, I think this lens looks good. You know, you get enough subject separation to make your shots feel polished, but you still keep enough of the scene to give the image some context. And that's really one of the reasons I like the 35mm so much. Guys, actually, my barber just called me, and so I got some things I have to film this week, and I'm gonna need to be cleaner than what I am now. So he's opening up the shop for me. We're actually gonna take the camera there and just get some content of the haircut.
You going crazy on the YouTube, though. You know who I also see like that?
I'm literally using this lens in every aspect that I can, right? So I got some engagement shoots coming. We got weddings coming up. First, this thing has to pass the test today. Once it does that, then we'll gradually introduce it to other shoots. You can isolate the subject, but the background still contributes something to it. The image feels clean, sharp, modern. It doesn't come off as being overly harsh. It looks good to the eye. It looks very polished. You know, in my personal opinion, that's a very nice balance. This just feels like a lens that you can trust. And those are usually the lenses that people end up keeping. So overall, I think the Viltrox 35mm 1.8 is a really well-judged lens. It gives you a very useful focal length, a bright 1.8 aperture, close focus at 0.34 meters, STM autofocus, 58mm filter thread, and a compact body at around 355 grams. And beyond the spec sheet, people are also loving this lens for its portability, sharpness, smooth bokeh, quiet autofocus, and overall value. I'm using this lens right now on my Sony FX3, but the reason I like it, this is just a very practical 35mm lens. It's easy to carry, easy to use, and with that being said, it's easy to recommend. And for a lot of creators, that's exactly what matters. And honestly, this lens makes a strong case for itself. And that's my thoughts on this lens. And if you feel like this is a good fit for you, let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment so we can connect. Let me know if you decide to get this. I am going to have the link available for purchase. And again, this video has resonated with you in any way, shape, or form. Make sure you tap in and let me know. Until the next time, this is Dre the Film Guy signing off. Peace.